They're literally on their way to death. They're on their way to death.
They have no idea.
They're on their way to die. They don't even know that death is coming to them.
And it's written.
They're literally on their own. They're going to death.
So there's an update in the car crash that left Anthony Joshua, the boxer, and his driver injured, and unfortunately claimed the lives of his two friends. The local authorities have announced that the driver is facing several charges, all related to reckless driving, and one charge that includes driving without a valid license.
And they ran into that vehicle, which was definitely because of the overspeeding. I didn't been doing no overspeeding, probably that wouldn't have been that fatal.
After weeks of being secretive about what really happened to Anthony Joshua and his friends, the Nigerian government is finally revealing the details of the accident, and it's actually more sketchy than we thought. Apparently, the rumors about the accident being a calculated attack on Anthony's life may actually be true, and there's even evidence of it. And get this, Anthony actually swapped from the front to the back seat just minutes before the crash happened. See, there's a lot to get into here, so let's dive right into it. So the incident happened on December 29th, 2025, on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, when the Lexus SUV that Anthony and his friends were in collided with a stationary truck parked at the side of the road. He sustained minor injuries and was rescued by some locals, but it was the opposite for his friends, Sinagami and Lateef Ayodele. Now, initially, people thought this was just an unfortunate accident, but as soon as the investigation started, it revealed a whole bunch of things that we didn't know about before. The first was the shady driver who was driving them that day, Kayode. But after the accident, he was charged with multiple offenses, including causing death by dangerous driving, reckless and negligent driving, driving without due care and attention, and driving without a valid license. He was granted bail but remained in custody. People were very suspicious about the whole thing, but this really convinced them that something really shady was going on. And just when we thought things couldn't get any worse, there was a major plot twist that was revealed by Anthony's driver's lawyer. So according to the lawyer, Anthony swapped seats from front to back shortly before the crash. Apparently, Anthony swapped seats with Lateef. Yep, the same one whose head literally got mashed up when the crash happened. Whatever plan they had to get rid of Anthony literally went down the gutter because of a simple seat swap. If that didn't happen, Anthony would have been dead by now. And if you see the car, the back was pretty much untouched, but the front was completely damaged. It's even a miracle that the driver somehow managed to make it out alive too, because under normal circumstances, he'd be in the mortuary. The lawyer said, and I quote, "My client has pleaded not guilty, and what happened was an accident. I haven't had a full chance to speak with him yet, but I know he is saying the brakes did not work. I also understand that the journey started in Lagos, and that initially Anthony had got into the front seat, but the driver asked him to swap seats. He did this because Anthony is a big fellow, and he couldn't see the wing mirror properly, so he asked him to move, and he sat behind the driver. From what I understand, Lateef was in front and then changed seats with Anthony." And did y'all notice when the lawyer said the brakes weren't working? Well, people are saying that this didn't happen by accident. Apparently, Anthony pissed a lot of powerful people off when he went off his script during his fight with Jake Paul. Some people even brought up the death of Kobe Bryant, claiming that Kobe's helicopter was also tampered with, leading to the fatal crash that took his life. And in case you're wondering what Kobe could have possibly done to piss off these powerful people, well, it turns out that just months before the crash, he had won a lawsuit against a big pharmaceutical company.
Anthony Joshua was not supposed to make it out of that car crash. That car crash was absolutely done to end his life. That was deliberately done. But when things like that are deliberately done, there have to be other people involved, other casualties involved to make it look like an accident. That wasn't no damn accident. Now, I personally don't feel like Jake Paul had anything to do with it because I feel like this whole thing is bigger than him. It's higher than him. You know what I'm saying? But of course, that's always a possibility. He could have something to do with it. That's possible. But I personally feel like it was the elites, specifically the elites that bet on that boxing match because Anthony Joshua was also not supposed to win that boxing match. Jake Paul was. Anthony Joshua is doing a lot of things that Anthony Joshua should not be doing. So there are attacks on his life right now because he is going against the grain. Anthony Joshua is not falling in line and listening the way he is supposed to. So they are trying to kill him. They being, y'all know. Another thing, I recently ended up on CIA Talk, don't know how, but I've been watching interviews of members of the CIA telling us the things that they can tell us, right? One of the interviews that I watched, this man, I kid y'all not, this man says that the CIA has the capability of hacking your car. They have the technology to hack your car and make you drive into a tree, make you drive off the road, make you drive into the ocean, make you drive into another car, make you unalive yourself. Sit with that.
And while we are on the topic of Kobe Bryant, let me give y'all the tea on him and Anthony allegedly being part of the same cult, because baby, those rumors have also been going crazy since the crash happened. It started when this podcast interview, which was done by Bishop Larry Gators, went viral. In the podcast, he was spilling some major tea about a Hollywood cult called Black Boule, which he claims has a lot of black athletes, celebs, and politicians as members. He even went on to name drop some of them, and they included LeBron James, who he says replaced Kobe, Oprah, Bill Cosby, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Obama, and even MLK.
The Boule Secret Society is a Black Skulls and Bones organization. Why was Kobe Bryant a target? Kobe Bryant, a Luciferian project, completed what I believe one of the greatest global cover-ups in history. But we have to see this for what it is concerning the assassination of Kobe Bryant. And one name keeps popping up. And it sounds like a Hollywood conspiracy movie, but the Boules are vicious. Now you got this counterfeit like LeBron James, who has that Boule logo tattooed on his chest. LeBron James has that Boule tattooed on his chest.
What's the tattoo?
Yeah, the Boule tattoo.
But here's where things get even crazier. So people also pulled out some receipts that seemingly proved Anthony's link to another Hollywood secret society called the Freemasons. This group has the number 33 ingrained in everything they do and own. And guess what? Anthony also had the number 33 across a lot of the things that he did during his fight with Jake. The members of the Freemasons literally wear rings that have the number 33 written on them. 33 million watched the fight on Netflix. He reportedly got taxed 33 million pounds, and this fight also happens to be his 33rd fight. Some people may say it's a coincidence, but a lot of people don't seem to think so at all. Anyway, going back to the claims about Anthony's car brakes being messed with to cause an accident, the family of his driver, specifically his 19-year-old son, hinted at the police using overspeeding to cover up the real cause of the crash. He said his dad had been working as Anthony's personal driver for 3 years now, and that if this was really about him overspeeding, Anthony wouldn't have kept him for 3 years. And I'm not even gonna lie, this boy was making some sense with the things he said. Dad is not a fast driver. He was following the speed limit, and then the brakes failed. He said he was pushing the pedal, but nothing was happening. He tried to swerve and avoid the truck parked by the side of the road, but hit it. He's been driving for Anthony for 3 years. He's a good driver. I know that when the journey started in Lagos, Anthony was sitting in the front by the driver, but my dad asked him to sit behind because he was blocking his view. A lot is going on with this case, y'all. There was clearly something shady going on that led to this crash. Thankfully, he made it out, even though he was seemingly the target. But his friends still lost their lives, and that's something Anthony will probably be feeling guilty for the rest of his life. One person said, he went off that script and they were like, "What are you doing? You ain't following the rules, so you have to get taken off the map." Giving Hunger Games. Another person said, "I think it's because he embarrassed Jake Paul, and there's a bunch of people who had money on Anthony losing. But he didn't. He won." But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about the fatal accident that Anthony went through? And do you really think this was a planned attack on his life? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to click here to watch this other very messy video.